Wow, there's not as much breeze in here. It feels much better. These Idaho Springs are so breezy. This is really quite fantastic. Dude, God, thanks for showing up. All right, guys, well, what do we do now? Have coal fights? I mean, all right. They're completely relaxed. Meanwhile, on the outside, Nebuchadnezzar is having a small aneurysm. Then, verse 26, Nebuchadnezzar came as close as he could into the door of the flaming furnace and shouted, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out, come here. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stepped out of the fire. Then the high officials, governors, and advisors crowded around them and saw that the fire had not touched them. Not a hair on their heads was singed, and their clothing was not scorched. They didn't even smell like smoke. The only thing that burned off of them were the roofs. Come on out of here! And the whole crowd now, remember, they've all gathered. The representatives from all the tables have crowded around to worship the image of coffee. And they've all gathered around. They've all fallen down in unison and synchronization. Except for 3 men. And then these men have been thrown into the fire and brought out. Everyone knows that someone has defied the God. And they crowd around to see this amazing thing that's happened. So my friends, God brings you through the fire to show you off later. I don't care how messed up your background is. I don't care what you've been through. I don't care if you've been to jail. I don't care if you've been through divorce, adultery. I don't care what your story is. It is there so God can brag. It's there so God can say, look at what I can do, and show it to other people so other people can be set free. Friends, every one of us is called to ministry. Not just this guy. I'm starting to rethink my job description again. It's the plague of the ADD. But I feel that even in this church, perhaps there are times that I have fallen into the wrong job description, because my job description is to train and equip you for ministry, not to do ministry. Okay? That is a lie that we've had for a long time in the Reformation. For those of you who are church historians, didn't quite get done. That and pews, but that's another story. Did he go there? Yes, he did again. Pews are fine. It's not a theological issue at all. That is the call that is on my life, is to empower you and set you free to do the work of ministry. Because I can't do what all of you can. 120 people, 130 people in here right now, the impact that will happen in this valley if 130 people took it as their job description, that my God is so great and He has taken me through the fire, that even though I'm not a pastor and I haven't been to school, my job is to share. My marriage went from dead to alive through the power of God. My life went from captivity to freedom through the power of God. My life has been set free, and I will ruthlessly go to set other people free. Not with a big protester sign marching up and down some street somewhere, but investing myself in someone else's life and telling my own story, that I don't know much, but this I know. I was blind, but now I see. And God is shown and set up to be amazing, phenomenal, because of 3 men who would not bow. If you haven't faced the destruction of all that you've set up yet, you will. If you haven't faced the day when someone stands over what you have done and worked for, threatening to destroy it, you will. And you will react in one of 2 ways. You will react from faith and trust, or you will react from fear. How you're going to face that day is dependent on your connection with God right now. Is that a guilt thing? No, I'm not trying to make you like, oh, am I spending enough time in prayer? No, I'm saying walk with God. Okay? This isn't some kind of like check-off list thing. Don't get into that. It's dangerous. It'll kill you spiritually. And when it happens, God is with you in the fire. Amen. And He's going to turn it around and show His awesomeness through you. because of what He's done in your life. The fire is coming. It's coming. But God wants to take you through it, and not just that, He wants to show Himself as amazing through you. The fire is coming. Faith or trust or fear. Faith and trust or fear. That thing that you built, if you're the one that's built it, it's going to come under attack. Someone's going to come against it unless God's the one who built it. And if God's the one that built it, it doesn't matter because it's God's plan, not yours. What happens at the end, verse 30? Well, first in 29, Nebuchadnezzar makes a decree that everyone has to worship God and goes a little bit overboard. And then verse 30, remember those guys who were jealous? He promotes Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to even higher positions in the province of Babylon. Because there's a God in heaven who's bigger than what anyone else says that they're going to set up or destroy or do to what He has planned. Are you in the fire right now? Trust or fear? Choose trust. Choose trust. How are you going to get through it? God's already brought you through fires. God's already brought you through stuff. He's not going to dump you on something that you can't handle yet. I believe there's a crisis coming on this earth like we've never seen. I believe there's going to be a day when we are tested. Revelation 13 talks about the day when it says you will either worship the image or you won't be able to buy, you won't be able to sell. And there'll be your name put on a list for death. And I think this story is a foreshadowing of what that's all about. God's not going to dump you there before you're ready. He's preparing you right now. That's why I think things are getting more difficult sometimes. Because God knows it's time to refine and to bring us through and give us freedom. And I want that freedom in my life, even if it does mean going through the fire. Because then my life starts to be a song that is lived out to God every day. Stamped beginning to end that this is about God, for God, and this battle is God's. And my prayer is that your life would be a song. My life would be a song of praise to God, even in the middle of the challenge and the fire. Even in the middle of the furnace.